Greetings, all. Shardvixen here. Okay, so, I'm not feeling really well. I haven't been feeling very well for a couple weeks now. Part of it's the cold. Then I get tired. I get cold, I get tired, and then fibromyalgia, the fibromyalgia sets in. And then I get more pain, I get more tired, and then I get my body regulation makes it think I'm cold, even when it's not very cold outside. So it's just kind of this weird vicious circle. I haven't been eating well. I mean, I'm still staying on the calories pretty much the way I'm supposed to. This always happens about 6-7 months. You just get really tired of eating the way you're eating. And when I get cold, wintertime is horrible for me because I want to eat, sleep. That's all I want to do. Anyway, this isn't a check-in, and this is not what the topic is. Today's topic is ideas. Oh my, I saw this thing for writing that they sell ideas. I got lots of ideas. You need ideas, and you're one of my subscribers or something, and you need ideas, you just message me, and I'll give them away for free, dang. But yeah, they sell them for $10 a month. You get a couple of different types of prompts and how to set the prompts up. So I was thinking, well, I don't only have to sell you ideas for reading. I could sell you ideas for all kinds of stuff. I just have, because my brain does this. Think of the little hamster wheel, right? High speed on crank. Okay, and then think of that 15. All at the same time going on. Even when, like today, I didn't feel good last night. I went in and laid down really early for me, and it's hard on my back to do that, but I went in and laid down. I almost took a muscle relaxer, but I avoided it because they make me feel really rum-dum the next day. So, sorry. So I laid down. I have this couple of mobile games I sit and play when I'm in bed or I read. And then I went to sleep, and I got up this morning, and I was like, I'm doing zip. I'm not doing anything. Because you have to do that with fibromyalgia. But even when I don't do anything, my brain is still going. I mean, I can sit very quietly for very long periods of time. I hate to do it, but I can do it. Because I had to work with children and had to show them how to do it and stuff like that. There's this weird hair. Look at that. Anyway, so can't do it. I just, my brain just goes, and it goes, and it goes, and it goes. And what's really bad is it does it a lot when I'm, in the shower or the bath, and then I don't have anything to write it down. I need one of those little, Android assistant things that I could say, or Alexis or something. Alexis, write this idea down. Alexis, idea this. Alexis. I had, one year, so many ideas. I had notebooks full of ideas. I have files on my computer full of ideas, number 500 something idea. I could write a book called Ideas, and I would have well over 1,000 to 2,000 ideas. And some of them can be a little similar, but most of them are really just, which is why What Does Vixen Say is good for me, because there's questions there, and I can use those questions. But I was thinking I was going to talk about some of the different ideas I have, and you are perfectly welcome to use them. Just remember, if you use them and then I use them, we have to make sure that we all know that, there's no big deal. I don't care. I'm not going to come after you and say, that was my idea and you made millions. I can't do them all, and if you did them and made millions, I'd be happy for you. That'd be great, because then that would actually give me validation as well, that my ideas weren't all weird. But, I'm going to turn my back to you for a moment. I was going to just pull out one of my notebooks and read them. I don't know, though, because I want to introduce, one of my ideas was to have a channel in which I just do reading of my stories. I do post some of the stories, haven't done it in a while, just because sometimes it's very hard for me, not because it's hard to write, just it's hard to type a lot. And when I'm doing animation and then I'm doing writing. I have to decide which do I want to do because it hurts my hand. And right now I'm working really, really hard on trying to finish Mo in Space. That's my idea of this animation I'm working on for old McReaper. And he didn't ask me to do it. That just was an idea. It was the forbidden ideas. I was watching him, and he was talking about wanting an intro into his streaming channel. And I was like, you have Mo Sandwiches, his character that he plays in all kinds of games. And then he has No Man's Sky. And I was like, this was before. Now, this I've been working on this animation a very long time because it's all original drawings and pieces and parts, and I'm putting it together, and it just takes a while for me. I'm sure there's an easier way to do it, but I don't know how to go from like my ideas and sometimes use other things to get there. So I always end up taking the long road first, and then over time I learn the easy road. I haven't yet learned any studio work. I'm supposed to learn that. It's on my schedule for me to learn Sigfig, which is a animation studio. I just got sent another one called Krita. That's also an animation. I'm having some problems with dizziness, so if I start to look weird, it's because I'm feeling like the world is going around. Usually that's why I have to use my walker, because it's not that I can't walk. I could probably run now. I've lost enough weight, but except the pain would kill me. It's that the world starts to do some weird stuff. That's how I know I'm having fibromyalgia bad, because my nerves and my brain are all funky. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, ideas. Anyway, and Mo in Space. So I'm working on Mo in Space, and then a secret project, which I had to stop to do the other secret project, which was the Geknip Gang animation. So these are these ideas that come up. So I have this other idea I want to do. It's kind of, sort of secret, but you're going to know about it, but like nobody else knows about it, and probably, I don't know when I'll get to it. I got a couple of them I'm doing. Rum and Apples, you should go check him out. He does hip-hop music surrounded by gaming and gamers. I want to do a music video of him, and I got it all written out, and it's setting in my idea area. I want to do a animated intro saying thank you to all the Geknip Gang streamers and people who've supported me as my introduction for my videos. I have those all written up in storyboard, and they're sitting in my idea pile. I have, okay, hang on here. I have an idea basket, and it has ideas in here. It has other things in here at the moment too, but right now it has ideas in it. It has like making a puppet. Okay. It has this is a project that I'm working on. Well, started and then put aside because I was working on other projects. But this one is about my depression, which I'm hoping to get done by next year. That's the one I want to use Sigfig for. I want to work on in Sigfig for that one. I have somewhere, I wrote, when my son was small, I wrote him a story called Tricky Monkey. Because my son was a little bit of a tricky monkey. There was this book that my daughter had called One Tricky Monkey on Top. And it was about circus and counting. And so then I called my son Tricky Monkey Longtoes, is what his name was. Because he had really long toes, my son. He grew into them, and now they're not long anymore. Now they're just regular toes. But as a little kid, he had like little monkey toes. So I created this character called Tricky Monkey Longtoes, and then he drew pictures, I drew pictures in it, we did a whole story on it. He's now too old for it, so I thought it'd make a great animation. It's sitting in my my idea place. Sorry for looking at my head. I have the Origins of Shardvixen movie. I got stories that I write down and put in here that I think are really cool ideas. I do have storyboards, so that's what I was going to show you, because I didn't want you guys to think I was just talking out of my head. Well, technically, I'll talk out of my head. Alright, so don't laugh at the artwork, because it's just rough draft. I don't know. See? Okay, so this is the Origins of Shardvixen. And all these little human animal people. Because she's a humanoid animal people. Right? So I write these ideas down. You know, I got this idea here about making this very cool looking angel for this book I'm writing. I haven't finished it. I haven't finished about it. And I think it's going to go in Shardvixen. But see, like, here's some more of the storyboard. You know, I'm a primitive drawer. That's what artists call you when... That's what critics call you when your art's not really very realistic form. I'm an impressionist, surrealist, primitive drawer. Let's see. I got some more here, so I'm searching in here. Okay, so let's see what this one is. Oh, okay, so my son and I came up with this one called Steve and Jerry, who end up being the only ones, well, they're not the only ones alive, but they are two guys in an apocalyptic time, and they end up being the only, they end up hooking up together, but one doesn't like the other one, and the other one's like a really cool guy that, you know, everybody likes. You meet him, he's nice, you like him, and he's friendly, and so it's really hard to understand why one doesn't like the other one. And then they go through this whole adventure. And I have it in pieces and parts. So that's something I'm going to do next year. That's always the next year. But I have the whole storyboard for that one all set up here. And then I have more. The universe being made. I have one for about the universe being made. Then I have some old stuff. Okay, so I wrote this song for my daughter when she was little, and then I did it with my son. And it's called it's that, you know, flies in the buttermilk shoe fly shoe. But I changed it and I used insects. And so we would do flies in the buttermilk shoe fly shoe, and then you have I have these huge. You're not gonna be able to look at the whole thing. It's really old, but it's this huge storyboard for songs. I was gonna draw it up as a, you know, thing. The moon sings, and then it's got the bees are making honey. I know you guys are thinking I'm insane now. But yeah, so I have tons and tons of ideas. I have ideas written. Animation ideas written. I have writing ideas in a file. I have art ideas in a file. Like right now I'm working on stenciling, that bleach, that DIY. You can spray it, stencil with the bleach. It's not turning out exactly as they said. I'm slowly getting there, but it took more than once. I always like DIYs because they make it look so easy, and then when you go to do it, it ain't that damn easy. I don't know why, but not for me. So, I'm going to be talking about that next week, about some new ideas about channels. I have ideas about channels and things I want to do, and you know, I think, for me, I am in a constant state of change. I call myself Chaos Goddess, because technically, my life sometimes feels very chaotic. And this has been my whole life, even as a child. And I would try to do things, and people would say, you can't do that. You think you can, but you can't do that, which is why I liked it when Marlin says that to Nemo. Well, actually, he ends up not saying it to Nemo, but to Dory, but he's really talking to Nemo when he does it because it's in his head. But I've always had these ideas and people have always crushed on them. And then I started just writing the ideas down. I never did a lot with them. And then over a period of time, I started doing more things with my ideas. And sometimes my ideas don't get finished. And sometimes they do. And sometimes what happens, for the most part, because I know a lot of people... so I have borderline personality disorder is what it's called. And I will do a vlog about that. I've just been kind of putting off some of the mental health stuff because I really wanted to do my depression animation first. And then we could talk about depression and we could talk about borderline personality disorder. So I will be talking about it. But one of the byproducts of that is the endless ideas and not being able to stay on task. You come up with new ideas, but you never finish them out. So one of my personal life goals, and I've been working on it for over 20 years now, is to make sure that I write them down and then I stay on track. Because if I don't stay on track, it will be all over the place. It'll be messes here and messes there. That's like my crafting area is just a mess right now because I had this plan to do this one thing and then I got tired of it and I walked away and then I'm coming back to it and it's all messed up. I have a baby blanket for my grandson. I started when he was a baby and he's now going to be 6. That's about how long it takes me to make the baby blankets. But part of that problem is because when I started making his blanket, and I'm not justifying, I'm just telling you how this history of the blanket goes. I started making the blanket, then I became homeless, and then I had to pack it up, and then I started working on it while I was homeless, and that was kind of, a big blanket's hard to kind of sometimes do. So then I had to pack it up again to move to Oregon. And then when we lived at one other place in Oregon and we moved over here, I packed it up again. And then when I got sick with fibromyalgia, I packed up all my craft stuff for a while because I didn't know if I'd be able to get back to it because crocheting is really hard on my fingers, sewing's really hard. And so I put it all aside. Now, as I've been working on with my diet and other things to become able to do things better, I'm pulling those things out. And I'm going through those projects to get rid of them if I'm not going to do them. Like, it's like the worst hoarding concept in ideas. Because I gather all these ideas together, but then they just lay there and I don't do anything with them. So I have to make sure that I do something with them. I don't know if other people have that issues. I know that if you have borderline personality disorder, and sometimes depression, people who have severe depression have the same problem. You do get to where you're doing a lot of stuff. Because what happens is you get a manic phase, and you are and doing all this stuff, and then you get a not manic phase, a depressed state, and you're doing absolutely nothing. And then when you come back to a middle ground, you're like, whatever it is you normally do, you're just kind of doing it. And it isn't until you back up to the manic phase that you start going, what? And you start doing ideas again, but you leave behind the ideas you had before. So I try not to do that. I try to stick to things. And you'll see it in people's patterns. You probably know people like that. Or maybe you're that way. And you're like, I can't get it done. I can't finish it. And I have things I can do in a short time and things that are going to take me longer. So like my channel stuff is taking me over a long time. The animation, which I thought was going to be shorter times, aren't. They're really longer because it's a health thing and how I feel and how my shoulder feels. And right now my shoulder hurts just using my hand to talk. So... and like I said, I was in bed all day, not doing anything. Ideas going around in my head, but I was pretty much trying to just relax because fibromyalgia hits you when you're in a manic phase. It hits you when you're in a depressed stage. It hits you when it just hits, but it hits, and then when it hits, you get tired, and then the tired adds to it. So it's like this weird, woo, and it's just so hard. So I finally last night said, okay, I'm not doing something right. Let's get back to it. So I'm walking a lot more. So I'm thinking that's why I'm tired too. because I have to take my grandson to school. I take him to school 2 days a week, and I pick him up 2 days a week. And this week, I had to pick him up and take him twice because my daughter had to work and then his father had to work. So it was like... But anyway, so that's about ideas. If you have questions about ideas, if you're like, oh, I wish I had your brain. Nobody ever says that to me. Nobody ever says, I wish I had your brain. But if you're like, I would love to write, but I can't think of an idea. I got tons of them, but they're only sci-fi or fantasy. I don't really do much other thing. I've tried writing like nonfiction memoir style, and I get bored with that. I have one going on for a long time. I don't know, maybe someday I'll sit down and finish it. I doubt it. And then I have one that's a fictional story, but it's like the person's telling the story about their life. And I just find those, I just always want to intervene weird shit. I just like, how do you deal with the weird shit in your life, you know? So, all right, and that's it. So I will catch you all on the flip side. Peace. There will be streaming tomorrow. Oh, I'm going to do a long ARC stream tomorrow because Pippin Plays is setting up, who's part of the Geknip Gang. If you check out the Geknip Gang or SabJazz21, his server, I don't know if we're doing it on his server, but we're going to have a race across from one orb, I think it's the blue orb to the red orb. And we're going to run, and you have certain rules, and we all just thought it'd be kind of fun to do. And so I'm going to stream that, but I think I'm going to try to do Outer Worlds and either an Assassin's Creed or Bioshock. I don't know. It'll depend on how I feel. I might do an hour each just to get them in, because it's hard for me to keep up with the story if I don't visit it once a week. All right. Love y'all.